Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey. If you haven't been here before, I make videos about a keto lifestyle. I also do some cooking recipe videos and some what I eat in a day vlogs. I'm pretty new to YouTube, but I'm kind of finding my way and what kind of videos I like to create. So if you're interested in following along with my keto journey, you can subscribe down below. I also have an Instagram where you can follow along with what I'm eating, what I'm doing in the gym, all of that jazz. But today I'm doing something a little bit different. So I have been keto for almost 2 years and I really love it. I've definitely taken control of my life with keto. I've lost about 30 pounds and I just feel like a different human being since starting keto. But I was experiencing some symptoms that I'll go into more later in the video, and I wanted to try something a little bit more drastic, I guess you could say. So I started doing some research and I came across the carnivore diet. So the carnivore diet is essentially only eating animal-based products. Some people don't even include dairy. I did decide to include dairy. So basically you're eating red meat, you're eating eggs, you can eat chicken, you can eat fish, but you're just gonna wanna stick to animal-based products. So I wanted to do this for 7 days, but today is day 5 and I am hopping on here to let you guys know that I will be concluding this experiment today, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the video, so stay tuned if that's interesting to you. I go into the benefits that I've experienced on this 5-day experiment with carnivore, as well as the drawbacks, the things that are kind of leading me to conclude it a little bit early. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I do just want to mention up front, I'm not a nutritionist, I am not a dietitian, I'm not a doctor, so make sure that if you're just thinking about making a change like this in your own lifestyle, that you consult someone who is licensed and educated enough to help you make that decision, because that is not me. I am just talking about my experience, my perspective, what's worked for me and what hasn't, so always keep that in mind when I'm talking about these diet options. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah. All right, week 1 of carnivore. This is our grocery haul. We definitely got a couple weird comments from the grocery stores we went to. We got some pork chops for Devin. I don't really like pork chops, but he does. Got some mozzarella and prosciutto / salami rolls from Trader Joe's. We got some liver to try, some smoked salmon, wings, a bunch of steaks. This was like all the steaks they had. I already made Devin promise that I get the 4th steak. Like there's 7 total, so I get a 4th one. Got some 80/20 beef. We got this chicken pate from Trader Joe's. I don't think it's really carnivore approved, but it's chicken liver mainly, so we're gonna try that. Some short ribs we're gonna make, some chicken sausage from Trader Joe's, bacon, cheese, ton of eggs, some heavy cream. This is kind of what we're working with for week 1. This is a little skin update. So this is our starting point. This is day 1 of carnivore. So I do have quite a few active breakouts, especially around my jawline. During my period and stuff, I get a lot of breakouts here. I also almost always have clogged comedones, I believe they're called, around here. This giant one here, a little bit around my mouth, and my forehead. So this is the starting point. I'm going to keep a close eye on my skin during this week because this is kind of one of my main goals of trying carnivore. So. My morning is off to a weird start on day 1, but I'm making lunch before I head to school. I've got 3 eggs that I'm gonna fry here. I'm gonna undercook them so that when I get to work and microwave them, they aren't overcooked. And then I've got quite a bit of just 80/20 ground beef here. This was cooked last night, so it's a little bit like the fat has kind of solidified, and that's what that is. But I'm just gonna put the eggs on top of that, and that's gonna be my lunch, I think. Our water is turned off, which is super annoying, but I guess they're doing construction beside our apartment. I just wish they would have let us know that they were gonna shut off the water. So after the gym this morning, I was unable to take a shower, and I'm just kind of like going through this really weird morning. Not really sure what I'm gonna do with my coffee. I had some leftover coffee from yesterday, so I'm microwaving that, but yeah, not a great start. This is going to be my lunch for day 1 on Carnivore. I've just got 3 eggs fried, a little bit undercooked so that when I microwave them a little at work, they don't get too overcooked. And then that's on top of some 80/20 ground beef that I prepped last night. So I'm gonna bring that with me to work. Here's my coffee on day 1. It's probably gonna be the same pretty much every day, but I've got some butter, some heavy whipping cream, some cinnamon, and a little bit of stevia in there, as well as an ice cube, obviously. But I have decided to keep stevia in my Carnivore week, but I am going to try not to use these sweeteners this week because I think they could be contributing to some of my stomach discomfort and stuff. So stevia is still a go, and I am including dairy, which I know some people do, some people don't. Alright, it is time for dinner. It's about 5:30, day 1. I'm getting some steaks set out. This is how we're going to make them pretty much always. So we do kind of dry age them, I think it's called. So you cover them in salt and throw them in the fridge like a day or 2 in advance. And then take them out about an hour before you're ready to cook them on a cast iron. So I am just going to be seasoning them with a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, some pepper, and maybe some rosemary on mine. Okay, so in the spirit of Christmas, I'm very up close and personal right now in front of my tree. I just wanted to set some bounds for my week of Carnivore because on day 1, it is day 1 right now, and I've realized that there are so many open-ended questions that I thought would be really simple, and they're actually not. So, for example, do you include dairy in your Carnivore diet? Some people do, some people don't. Do you include stevia? Some people do, some people don't. Do you include cooking oils that are derived from vegetables like olive oil or coconut oil? I guess coconut's technically fruit, but plant-derived oils. Do you include those or no? And it really seems like it's up to the individual. If you think that olive oil and coconut oil are inflammatory to your body, then cut them out. If you think stevia is upsetting your stomach, cut it out. So I've decided to include dairy. I've decided to keep stevia in and coconut oil as well as olive oil, and those are really the only oils I cook with or consume on a regular basis. These are kind of just questions you have to answer for yourself, and hopefully me being transparent about it doesn't make anyone mad that it's not technically carnivore, I guess, but it seems like a lot of carnivore people include these things. So it seems that carnivore is more of a zero carb approach or similar, and that the bulk of your diet is animal based. So dairy and meats are going to be animal based, and then the few things that I am using that are derived from plants are kind of supplemental things. They're not going to be making up a large portion of it. So tonight I've got a New York strip steak cooked pretty rare. I've got some smoked salmon, and then I've got some pate, which is made with chicken liver, and we're gonna give that a try. But this is Carnivore Day 1 dinner, and I assume I'm gonna eat this whole thing. So Day 2 skin check-in. The lighting isn't as good today because it's cloudy out, but I feel like maybe a little bit of inflammation has gone down, but not much. Okay, so it is day 3, and I will say for this skin update, I'm starting to notice a little bit of a difference, for sure. I think some of the inflammation and redness has gone down considerably. I can't really see because I just had to take my glasses off for this. So I hope it's in focus. And hopefully you can see. And I'm probably gonna go weigh myself. I started out at 161 on Sunday. I'm still feeling a little bit of the bloating that I was experiencing before, but that just makes me think maybe I'm gonna have to do this for a couple weeks, and maybe a week just isn't long enough because I'm already 3 days in and I'm still feeling this way. So yeah, and I will say every night around 10 p.m. I really have a sweet tooth, and it's been kind of tough, but not super tough. I just notice it and I'm just like, oh, I really want a handful of Lily's chocolate chips right now, and normally I would just have that. So I've noticed that, and I've had to have a little bit of self-control to say, can't do that right now. So I'm gonna go hop on the scale and I'll let you guys know. All right, so I weighed myself and I'm 160 now, so about a pound's different. Not really noticeable because I do fluctuate a couple pounds every day. So yeah, that's the update for day 3. It's day 3 and we're trying something a little bit different today. I've got some beef liver here, which I've never tried before. I just had a little bite and it's really not that bad. I'm not sure if we just didn't buy very good quality liver or what. But I've also got 2 eggs here, a pork chop, and some air fried bacon. So this is gonna be lunch for day 3. Alright guys, it is day 5 of Carnivore, and I've been meaning to do a little sit down chat with you guys, but honestly it's been really cloudy and the lighting has been awful in my apartment, so there hasn't been a very good time to do one of these sit down chats. So I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of talk through the process of deciding to do this Carnivore challenge, some of my concerns when beginning the challenge, and kind of just my mindset throughout. Okay, so I wrote some things down in my phone just so I don't forget anything. So if I'm looking down, I swear I'm not like texting in the middle of a video or anything. So basically my main concerns with starting the Carnivore experiment, I don't really want to call it starting the Carnivore diet because I never intended for it to be a long-term thing. Like I wasn't changing, like leaving keto behind to do Carnivore. That was never the plan. So some of my concerns when I was debating whether or not I wanted to try Carnivore for a week was mainly vitamins and minerals. Like I think it's really common that we all think we get most of our vitamins and micronutrients and minerals and all of that from vegetables, and everyone's always saying you need to eat your vegetables, etc. But I did some research and watched some videos, especially I think her name is Health Coach Kate. She does a lot of really comprehensive videos about Carnivore. I did a lot of my research through her, and she mentioned that vegetables and fruit actually has anti-nutrients, which makes it harder for our body to access the vitamins and minerals and the micronutrients within plant-derived sources, whereas the vitamins and minerals in animal-based products are more bioavailable because our body doesn't have to convert them, so they're able to get more out of those vitamins and minerals. So I think that when she was talking about just how like nutrient dense plant-based foods are versus animal-based foods, that kind of sold me on the fact that I wasn't going to be like passing out from missing some vital nutrient or vitamin, you know what I mean? Or I wasn't gonna get like scurvy. So that was a concern in the beginning. I was afraid that I might experience, I don't know, some sort of lack. So maybe I would be fatigued, tired, have a headache, that kind of thing. And I was worried that it would be related to not getting all of my vitamins in a day. Another thing that I was a little bit worried about was digestion. Honestly, not to divulge too much information, but I experience some digestion problems from time to time, so I was worried that without any fiber in my diet I might experience constipation, and not to be too much, but I do feel like I want this video to be informative, and that's just the nuts and bolts of the situation. Like, that's one of the main concerns I think for a lot of people, is that they wouldn't have any movement in that regard, and all I'm going to say is that that was not a problem. Satiation was another concern I had. I really felt like if I'm only eating a steak, I'm still going to be very hungry, because your girl can put away some food. Let's be honest, I didn't get to, almost 200 pounds back in the day by not being able to put away some food. So I thought, man, I can eat a big steak for dinner and I'll eat it with half an avocado and a salad. Like, I will eat big meals. So if I only eat one steak and I don't eat any of the sides, I'm still gonna be hungry. And likewise with other meals. But I found that eating fattier meats is very satiating. I did not have that problem at all. I actually had way less of an appetite than I normally would. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later, because it's not a completely positive thing, but I did just experience pretty much no appetite for the most part. I did continue to do intermittent fasting until about 1 on most days. Some days it was like 3 or 4. And I really didn't have a problem with it at all. I didn't experience any struggling with completing my fast, so that ended up not being a concern. And my last major concern was boredom, which I'll talk more about throughout the video, but I definitely think this is a legitimate concern, because at this point, I talked about this on Instagram recently, I'm just pretty bored with my food, and I don't really look forward to eating, which sucks because I am such a foodie. I try to be an adventurous eater. I like to try new things. I don't feel excited to cook, which I love to cook, and that's something that I think a lot of people see as a benefit of the carnivore diet, is that the prep is really easy. You don't have to do any chopping of vegetables or cooking very much. You want to keep a lot of your meat, especially steak, pretty raw. You don't want to overcook it, so it's really fast prep, and I agree. But I love cooking and I love being creative with my meals. That's something that brings me a lot of de-stressing. I really enjoy that. So that part of this week has been so lacking. I just feel really demotivated in that regard. I don't really care to cook. I've been having Devin cook everything because I'm just not hungry enough to cook myself, and I don't know, I'm just experiencing a lot of boredom. And again, I will talk about that probably a little bit more later in the video. So I didn't take a ton of videos of my food because a lot of my meals were the same. Basically every single day for lunch I ate 80-20 ground beef with 3 fried eggs on top with a ton of salt and some butter occasionally. Not every day, but I did put a little bit of butter on it a couple times, and I took some pictures and videos of that. I also just pretty much had steak every night for dinner. Some nights I had it with smoked salmon. One night I tried pate, and I actually really like that, but it's not I don't think it's a completely carnivore option because it had mushrooms in it. So I had it that first time, and then I didn't have it again because I didn't want to be cheating on the carnivore diet. So, and for breakfast most days, I skipped breakfast because I don't eat breakfast anyways, but I did have a bulletproof coffee. And the first couple days I added stevia to it, and then the last couple days I've tried not to. I usually have multiple coffees a day, but I try not to put stevia in all of them. It's just that's the best part of my day. So that's a little soul crushing. But yeah, pretty much just butter and heavy whipping cream and salt. So I'm not trying to dog the carnivore diet, but I will say for me personally, it's a little bit too restrictive, a little bit boring, and it's making me lose my appetite. So another thing that I was curious about and why I wanted to try out this diet is I had been really bloated for about 2 weeks, and usually I get cramping and bloating during that time of the month, and it sucks, but it usually goes away. And I use the app Clue to track my cycles, and so I know when the bloating should be going away, and it just wasn't going away. And during that week of my period, I really allowed myself to just eat whatever I wanted, which is bad, but I had just recently become an affiliate with Keto Bars, which link is in the description. I still love keto bars, but I was eating a lot of keto bars. I was eating a lot of low carb wraps. I was just snacking. I was eating a lot of like cheese, a lot of, I'm not even sure what else, ice cream, like high fiber ice cream, high fiber everything basically, and it was making my stomach hurt. Oh, I was eating Quest products, especially like the Quest pizzas. They have so much fiber in them, and it just destroys my soul. So yeah, I was eating a lot of high fiber snacks, and that makes me personally, and a lot of other people, really bloated. So I was not feeling very good. I was up like 4 or 5 pounds from what I was before my period started. Oh, the police. So I just started looking up what I could do potentially to decrease the bloating, and of course Carnivore came up. That was one of the major reasons why I wanted to try it, and I also wrote down a couple other reasons in my phone. So another reason I wanted to try it was the cravings in general. Like I said, I was eating a lot of keto snacks, not even just high fiber snacks, but just snacks in general, like snacking a lot, and I was just having cravings. So I was really struggling with my hunger cues, figuring out when I was actually hungry versus when I was bored. So that was another thing that I read was a great side effect of Carnivore, is that you're forced to like figure out, are you actually hungry or are you bored? Just like Keto Connect has a thing where they ask themselves, like, would you eat an egg right now? And if you wouldn't eat an egg, then you're not actually hungry, you're just snacky, you're just bored. But if you would eat an egg, then your body is actually telling you it's hungry. Another reason was I heard a lot of people say that it helped their skin, and I've been checking in with my skin throughout this video. For the past month or so, my skin has been very inflamed, very bumpy, very red, a lot of active breakouts all over my jawline especially, and my forehead and cheeks. That's where I mostly get my acne, and it was just, again, usually it gets worse on my period, but then it was sticking around for an extra 2 weeks, which isn't normal for me. Those were the main reasons why I decided to try Carnivore, and I would say that I've experienced relief to all of those symptoms. So it's not all bad, and I definitely don't want to give the impression that this has been a total failure. Also important with understanding your body and like listening when your body is telling you it's time to stop doing something or start doing something else. I ate really restrictively and food that I didn't like for so long that when I was done with that restrictive way, I just ate everything. So I know that for me, if I restrict myself too long, I will experience a crash, and I don't want to do that because I've worked really hard to get where I am with like binge eating. I wouldn't consider myself to be like a binge eater or like recovering from binge eating, but if you are a recovering binge eater, you totally understand what I'm saying. Like sometimes you can hold out for a long time and restrict yourself insane and just be perfect on your macros all the time, and then you just inevitably hit a point where it's too much stress, and the like end result is basically nullifies everything you did in your strict period, and I won't feel good at the end. And that's the whole overarching goal of me ever starting keto in general, is for me to feel good and for me to repair my relationship with food. And like once you get through that mental part of it, the physical part follows. Once you start treating food differently and looking at food differently and looking at your body in a more positive light and saying like, I respect my body, I love my body and what it provides me, and because of that I want to work out, I want to be active, I want to feed my body and nourish my body with the things that make it feel good and make it operate at its like 100% capacity. So when you start getting to that point, it's really scary when something makes you feel like you're risking that. And to me right now, I just kind of feel like I'm risking that because I didn't envision this video going this way or this experience going this way, and I really didn't want to give up at 5 days. I'm gonna be honest with myself, and that's kind of where I'm at. So okay, so another thing, I know that the lighting isn't that good, and I do have makeup on. I have concealer on, I have blush on, I have some bronzer on my eyelids and right here. So it's not like completely barefaced, but you can still see I still do have some bumps, but I always have those. But compared to the first day, like, the change is definitely, this is where I have most of my acne. That's like a bad angle, but that's where I have most of my acne, is right here. And a lot of that inflammation has really decreased. So what am I going to do from here? What are my main takeaways? And yeah, I'm going to share those with you now. So what were the positive, the benefits, the pros of trying this diet for 5 days? My skin has cleared up considerably, and I can show you guys that through, you know, the clips of my skin every single day. I have lost about 5 pounds in water weight in 5 days. So I think if you're trying to fix some bloating issues, if you're doing keto and you still are experiencing a little bit of bloating, then maybe try this, and I think it would definitely help you. Another thing is it's easy. It's really simple meal prep, so if you're someone who's just not into cooking or meal prepping, this is extremely easy. It totally took care of all of the cravings and hunger cue issues I was having, and that's really important to me. That's probably the most beneficial thing that I've gotten out of this, and the thing that I will continue to remember in the future when I am experiencing snackiness, cravings, or just an appetite that I'm not used to. And then when it comes to cons, I think it's not that exciting when it comes to food. So if you're someone who really likes a variety of vegetables and fruits and meats, you're probably gonna get bored. And you know, I've seen some people say that they were bored and they stuck to it, and they eventually really enjoy it. But I do want to also say, you don't have to do strict carnivore. You can do carnivore keto or keto carnivore, where you have some plant-based foods, and the trick is just figuring out what feels best for you mentally and physically. Okay, so that's another thing that I just struggled with a little bit. Ooh, another con is it's really hard to eat out, and we didn't eat out, but we did go over to families for Thanksgiving, and we literally just ate the turkey. We couldn't eat anything else. So I imagine it would be similar if you went to a restaurant and they just had a bunch of dishes that always come with vegetables. And with keto, it's so easy to eat out. I'm definitely not saying that I wouldn't do it again. And that kind of leads me to, what am I gonna do from here? I think that the benefits of the carnivore diet they're not lost on me. They're apparent, okay? So I would say that in the future, I will be going back to keto, but I will probably do a more carnivore-inspired keto. I've mentioned it many times on my Instagram, but it's really, really good to have a lot of tools in your toolbox. So if you have a problem and you've never tried carnivore, it might be a smart idea to try carnivore and see if it fixes your problem or makes you feel better. And again, the most important thing to me right now at this point in my life is to continue healing my relationship with food and my emotions regarding food. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am sorry if any of you are disappointed that I wasn't able to complete the 7 days. I'm not disappointed in myself. I think I made the right decision. But I am really glad I tried it, and I will definitely be using it as a tool in the future. So if you like this video, go ahead and like it down below. You can also subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I will also be doing a 1,000 follower giveaway on my Instagram. I just hit 1,000 followers the other day, which is just so exciting and so insane that 1,000 people want to watch what I'm eating and doing in the gym. That is very exciting and makes me feel so happy. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway with a bunch of my favorite keto snacks. There's a cookbook, there's like a coffee mug, there's just a ton of things that I love. I basically just went wild in Whole Foods. And I also have a brand who is contributing a gift card, so that's really exciting. So if you don't already, you can follow the link down below and follow me on Instagram and keep an eye out for that giveaway, because I'm really, really excited to just be able to give back to one of you guys, and thank you for supporting me. So